Meet Nikola Tesla, a Croatian genius born in 1856, dreamed of harnessing electricity to light the world. With his Tesla Coil, he battled rivals like Edison and doubt in New York. Imagine a dusty notebook, hidden for decades, holding Nikola Tesla's secret to free, clean energy, a coil that pulls power from the earth itself. Join Sarah, a curious scientist, as she uncovers Tesla's lost design, builds a coil that sparks lightning, and fights a greedy company to share its power with the world. From Tesla's 1890s lab to 2025's fusion dreams, this thrilling tale of science, discovery and hope shows how one spark can light the future. Chapter 1. The Spark of Genius. In a small attic room, lit by the soft glow of a single bulb, Sarah Blake hunched over a dusty wooden desk. Papers spilled across it, some yellowed with age, others scribbled with her own messy notes. Her laptop hummed quietly, casting a faint blue light on her face. Outside, the wind howled through the streets of New York, rattling the window panes. It was late, past midnight, but Sarah didn't care. She was chasing something big, something that could change everything. Sarah was a scientist, but not the kind you'd picture in a shiny lab coat. At 32, she wore faded jeans and a sweater with holes at the elbows. Her dark hair was tied back in a messy bun, and her glasses kept slipping down her nose. She worked at a small university, teaching physics to bored students, but her real love was electricity. How it moved, how it danced, how it could power the world. And tonight, she was closer than ever to unlocking a secret that had been buried for over a century. It all started 3 weeks ago at an old bookstore. Sarah loved poking through forgotten corners, hoping to find treasures others missed. That day, she'd found a crate of mouldy journals tucked under a creaky staircase. Most were boring, old ledgers, shopping lists, but one caught her eye. It was a thin notebook, its leather cover cracked and faded. Inside, the pages were filled with spidery handwriting, strange sketches of coils and wires, and numbers that didn't make sense. At the bottom of one page, in bold ink, was a name: Nikola Tesla. Sarah's heart had skipped a beat. Tesla wasn't just any inventor. He was a legend, a man who dreamed of lighting up the world. Born in 1856 in a tiny village in what's now Croatia, Tesla had a mind that buzzed like a storm. As a boy, he saw flashes of light in his head, visions of machines that didn't exist yet. By the time he was a young man, he was inventing things that changed history. Motors, generators, ways to send electricity over long distances. But his strangest creation was the Tesla Coil, a machine that could make lightning dance in the air. Sarah had seen one at a science fair once, spitting sparks and humming with power. It was like magic, but it was real. The notebook she'd found wasn't just a diary. It was a puzzle. Tesla's notes were cryptic, full of half-finished thoughts and wild claims. One page said the coil could talk to the stars. Another hinted at a secret design, something he'd never shared with the world. Sarah couldn't stop reading. She brought the notebook home, and for weeks it consumed her. She barely slept, barely ate. Her friends thought she was obsessed. Maybe she was. But if Tesla had hidden something in these pages, something that could change how we use energy. She had to find it. Tonight, she was stuck on a single page. It was covered in tiny drawings of spirals and coils, with numbers scratched in the margins. At the bottom, Tesla had written, "The key is in the resonance. Find it, and the world will sing." Sarah frowned, chewing her pencil. Resonance. She knew what it meant in science. When things vibrate at the same speed, like a guitar string matching a tuning fork. Tesla's coils used resonance to build up huge amounts of electricity, turning a small spark into a bolt of lightning. But what did he mean by "the world will sing"? Was it just poetry, or was there more? Sarah leaned back in her chair, rubbing her eyes. She needed a break, but her mind wouldn't stop. She thought about Tesla's life, piecing together what she knew. He wasn't like other inventors. While Thomas Edison, his rival, built factories and sold light bulbs, Tesla chased dreams. He wanted electricity to be free for everyone, sent through the air without wires. People called him crazy. Maybe he was a little crazy, but he was also brilliant. In the 1890s, he built the first Tesla coils, machines that could shoot sparks across a room. He used them to study electricity, to test ideas about sending power and messages through the air. Some said he even made the ground shake with his experiments. But Tesla's life wasn't all sparks and glory. He was terrible with money. He spent everything on his inventions, living in fancy hotels until he couldn't pay the bills. By the time he died in 1943, alone in a New York hotel room, most people had forgotten him. His papers were scattered, some lost, some locked away. Sarah wondered if this notebook was one of those lost pieces. If it was, why had it ended up in a dusty crate? And why did she feel like it was meant for her to find? She flipped to another page, her fingers trembling. This one had a sketch of a coil, but it looked different from the ones she'd seen in books. The spirals were tighter, the wires arranged in a strange pattern. Next to it, Tesla had written, "Not for show, but for truth. The coil holds more than they know." Sarah's pulse quickened. Tesla's coils were famous for putting on shows, sparks and noise to wow crowds. But this sounded like something else, something bigger. She typed a few words into her laptop, searching for clues. Tesla had built coils in his lab on Houston Street, not far from where she sat now. He'd also worked in Colorado Springs, a remote spot where he could test his wildest ideas. There, in 1899, he'd made a coil so powerful it lit up the sky, sending bolts of lightning into the night. The townspeople thought the world was ending. Sarah smiled at the thought. Tesla didn't care about scaring people. He cared about proving what was possible. Her search pulled up an old article about Tesla's Colorado experiments. It said he'd claimed his coil could send signals to other planets. Sarah rolled her eyes. Tesla loved big ideas, but aliens? That was too much. Still, the article mentioned something else. Tesla believed his coil could do more than make sparks. He thought it could control energy in ways no one understood. Sarah froze. Control energy. That sounded like the resonance he'd written about. Was he talking about a new way to make or move electricity? If so, it could be huge. Today, we lose tons of energy sending it through wires. If Tesla had found a better way, it could. Change how we power homes, cars, everything. Sarah grabbed a notebook of her own and started jotting down ideas. She wasn't just a scientist. She was a tinkerer, like Tesla. In her tiny apartment, she had a workbench covered in wires, batteries, and half-built gadgets. She'd even tried building a small Tesla coil once, but it had blown a fuse and scared her cat. Still, she understood the basics. A Tesla coil was simple but clever. It had 2 coils of wire, a primary and a secondary, wrapped around a core. When electricity flowed through the primary coil, it created a magnetic field. That field made the secondary coil vibrate, building up huge amounts of voltage. The result? Sparks, big ones, leaping into the air. But Tesla's notebook wasn't talking about sparks. It was talking about something deeper. Sarah read the line again. The key is in the resonance. She tapped her pencil against the desk. Resonance wasn't just about coils. It was about matching frequencies, making things work together perfectly. In nature, resonance could be powerful. It's why a singer's voice can shatter a glass, or why a bridge can shake itself apart in a storm. Tesla was obsessed with frequencies, with finding the right tune for his machines. What if he'd found a way to tune his coil to do something new? She stood up, pacing the room. Her cat, Edison, named to annoy her Edison fan friends, watched her from the couch. Sarah's mind raced. Tesla's coils were used in early radios, helping send signals through the air. They were also used in medical machines, like the ones that made X-ray pictures. Today, people still use them in science, labs, and even for fun, making music with sparks. But Tesla's notebook hinted at something more, a secret he'd never shared. Sarah felt a spark of her own, a mix of excitement and fear. What if she was onto something? What if Tesla had left a clue that could change the world? She sat back down and opened her laptop again. She needed to know more about Tesla's life, about what drove him. He wasn't born rich or famous. As a kid, he was sick a lot, stuck in bed with only his imagination to keep him company. He'd dream up machines, sketching them in his mind before he ever touched a tool. When he was older, he moved to America, landing in New York in 1884 with just a few coins in his pocket. He worked for Edison for a while, but they fought. Edison loved direct current, electricity that flows one way. Tesla believed in alternating current which could travel farther. Tesla was right, and his ideas helped build the power grids we use today. But he never got rich from it. He was too busy chasing his next big dream. Sarah admired that. Tesla didn't care about money or fame. He cared about ideas. He wanted to make life better, to give people light and warmth. That's why his notebook felt so personal to her. She wasn't chasing fame either. She just wanted to understand, to discover, to make a difference. She flipped to another page in the notebook. This one had a single sentence, underlined twice. They will not see until it sings. Sarah's breath caught. There it was again, the idea of singing, of resonance. She didn't know what it meant, but it felt important. She grabbed her phone and texted her friend Marcus, a history buff who loved old tech. Found something weird in a Tesla notebook, she typed. Can we talk tomorrow? Marcus would know if Tesla had left other clues, maybe in letters or patents. Sarah needed help to crack this puzzle. She leaned back, staring at the ceiling. The bulb above her flickered just for a second. She laughed nervously. "Okay, Tesla, don't haunt me," she muttered. But the flicker made her think. Electricity was everywhere, powering her laptop, her light, her life, yet we still wasted so much of it. Power plants burned coal and gas, heating up the planet. Wires and batteries weren't perfect. What if Tesla had found a better way? What if his coil wasn't just a spark machine, but a key to something bigger? Sarah closed the notebook, her heart pounding. She didn't have answers yet, but she had a start. The notebook was real. The sketches were real, and Tesla's words about resonance, about truth, felt like a challenge. She wasn't sure where this would lead, but she knew one thing. She couldn't stop now. Somewhere in these pages was a secret, and she was going to find it. Outside, the wind died down, and the city grew quiet. Sarah turned off her laptop and stood by the window, looking out at the glowing skyline. New York had been Tesla's home, his laboratory, his dream. Now it was hers. She felt a connection to him, a spark across time. Whatever he'd hidden in that notebook, it was waiting for her to uncover. And when she did, the world might just sing. Chapter 2. The coil's birth Sarah's attic room buzzed with energy, even though it was just her, a flickering bulb, and a pile of old papers. The leather notebook she'd found, the one with Nikola Tesla's name scrawled inside, lay open on her desk. Its pages smelled like dust and secrets. Last night, she'd read about Tesla's strange ideas, his talk of resonance and making the world sing. Now she was digging deeper, chasing the moment when Tesla's most famous invention, the Tesla Coil, came to life. If she could understand how he built it, maybe she'd crack the mystery hidden in his sketches. Sarah sipped cold coffee, her eyes fixed on a page covered in tiny drawings. Spirals, wires, and numbers danced across the paper, like a map to a treasure she couldn't yet see. Tesla's words from last night echoed in her head. The key is in the resonance. She didn't know what it meant, but she knew where to start. The Tesla coil wasn't just a machine. It was a spark that lit up history. To find its secrets, she had to go back to when it was born. It was the 1890s and Nikola Tesla was already a star in New York. He'd come from a small village in Croatia, a skinny kid with big dreams. By his 30s, he was tall, sharp-dressed, and full of ideas that made people's jaws drop. He'd helped build the power grids that lit up cities using alternating current, electricity that could travel far. But Tesla wasn't happy just lighting lamps. He wanted to push electricity further, to make it do things no one had imagined. That's when he started playing with coils. Sarah flipped to a new page in the notebook. It had a sketch of a coil, but not like the ones she'd seen in science books. This one had extra loops and odd angles, with notes in Tesla's spidery handwriting. Primary to secondary, tuned like a song. She frowned, chewing her pencil. She knew the basics of a Tesla coil. It was simple but wild. You take two coils of wire, one called the primary, one called the secondary, wrap them around a core, and send electricity through them. The primary coil makes a magnetic field, which makes the secondary coil shake with energy. If you get it right, the secondary coil builds up so much voltage that it spits out lightning. Big crackling sparks that can light a bulb across a room or make your hair stand on end. But Tesla's sketch wasn't about sparks. It was about something else. Sarah leaned closer, her glasses slipping down her nose. The notebook didn't explain much, but it hinted at a coil that could do more than dazzle crowds. She needed to know what Tesla was thinking when he built his first coils. She grabbed her laptop and typed Tesla Coil 1891, hoping for clues. The screen filled with stories. In 1891, Tesla was working in his lab on Houston Street, a grimy building packed with wires and machines. He was obsessed with high-frequency electricity, power that moved so fast it could do weird things, like glow in tubes or jump through the air. He'd show off his coils at lectures, making sparks fly while people gasped. But he wasn't just showing off. He was testing ideas about sending power without wires, maybe even signals, like the ones that would later make radios work. Sarah's heart raced. That was it. Tesla's coils weren't just for fun. They were part of his big dream, a world where energy and messages could fly through the air, free for everyone. She thought about her own life, how she paid electric bills and charged her phone. Wires were everywhere, but they weren't perfect. They wasted energy, and power plants burned dirty fuel. What if Tesla had found a better way? She turned back to the notebook, her fingers brushing the rough pages. One note caught her eye. Colorado, 1899. The Earth speaks. Sarah's breath hitched. Colorado Springs. That's where Tesla took his coils to the next level. She'd read about it last night, but now it felt important. In 1899, Tesla left New York for a dusty town in Colorado, where he built a lab in the middle of nowhere. There, he made a Tesla coil so huge it could shake the ground. Sarah needed to know what happened there. If Tesla's notebook held a secret, Colorado was where it started. She searched again, pulling up old photos of Tesla's Colorado lab. It was a wooden barn filled with strange machines. In the center was his giant coil, a tower of wires and metal that looked like something from a sci-fi movie. Tesla called it his magnifying transmitter, but it was really a supersized Tesla coil. He'd run electricity through it, making bolts of lightning shoot into the sky. The townspeople were terrified, thinking he was crazy. But Tesla wasn't crazy. He was chasing something. Sarah found an article that described what Tesla did in Colorado. He'd sit in his lab, watching the coil spark and hum. He claimed it could send power miles away, lighting bulbs without wires. He even said he picked up strange signals, like messages from space. Sarah rolled her eyes at that part. Tesla loved big ideas, but space signals, probably just static. Still, the article said something else. Tesla believed his coil could tune the Earth, like a giant bell. That word again, tune. It was close to resonance, the thing he kept writing about. She grabbed a piece of paper and started sketching her own coil, trying to make sense of it. A Tesla coil was all about resonance. The primary and secondary coils had to vibrate at the same speed, like two kids swinging in sync on a playground. If they matched perfectly, the energy grew bigger and bigger, turning a small jolt into a huge spark. Sarah drew the primary coil, then the secondary, adding a capacitor, a part that stored energy like a bucket. She wasn't an expert, but she'd built a small coil in her apartment once, It had sparked and popped, but nothing like Tesla's monsters. Her cat, Edison, jumped onto the desk, knocking over a pencil. Sarah laughed, scratching his ears. "You're no help," she said, but her mind was still on Tesla. In Colorado, he'd pushed his coils to the limit. He wrote about making the air glow, about sending power to distant hills. Some said he even caused a blackout in the town when his coil sucked up too much electricity. Sarah could picture him, standing alone in his lab, surrounded by sparks, his eyes bright with ideas. He wasn't just building a machine, he was trying to talk to the world. She flipped to another page in the notebook. This one had a list of numbers, like a code. Next to it, Tesla had written, "The coil must match the Earth's song." Sarah's stomach flipped. The Earth's song? Was he talking about resonance again, but on a bigger scale? She knew the Earth had its own frequencies, like the way it vibrated after an earthquake. Scientists today called it the Schumann resonance, a low hum caused by lightning bouncing around the planet. Did Tesla think his coil could tap into that? Sarah's head spun. This was getting wild, but she couldn't stop. She thought about Tesla's life in Colorado. He wasn't rich then. He'd spent all his money on his lab, living in a small hotel room. He worked alone, sometimes talking to pigeons in the park. People thought he was odd, but he didn't care. He believed in his coils, in their power to change everything. Sarah felt a pang of sadness. Tesla was so brilliant, but so alone. She wasn't like that. She had friends, a cat, a messy life, but she understood his drive, the need to chase an idea, even if it scared her. She went back to the notebook, her fingers trembling. The sketch of the strange coil was still there, with its tight spirals and weird angles. She compared it to a picture of a normal Tesla coil on her laptop. The differences were small but real. The notebook's coil had more turns in the secondary, and the primary was connected differently. Was this the secret? Had Tesla built a coil that could do more than make sparks? Sarah grabbed her phone and texted Marcus again. "Need you to check Tesla's Colorado patents," she wrote, "looking for anything about coils and resonance." Marcus was a history nerd, always digging through old records. If Tesla had filed a patent for this weird coil, Marcus could find it. Sarah needed proof that this wasn't just a dream. She stood up, pacing her tiny room. The bulb flickered again, making her jump. "Stop it, Tesla," she muttered, half joking, but the flicker made her think about electricity, how it powered everything. Her laptop, her coffee maker, the city outside. We took it for granted, but it wasn't perfect. Power lines lost energy as heat. Batteries ran out. What if Tesla's coil could fix that? What if his talk of resonance and the Earth's song was about making energy cleaner, stronger, free? She sat back down, her heart pounding. The notebook was full of clues, but they were hard to follow. Tesla wrote like he was talking to himself, jumping from one idea to another. One page mentioned wireless power and global signals. Another said the coil could store the Earth's energy. Sarah didn't know what it all meant, but she felt close to something big. She thought about her own experiments, the little coil she'd built. It was nothing compared to Tesla's, but it had taught her how resonance worked. When she got the coils to match, the sparks were brighter, stronger. Was Tesla saying he'd found a way to match his coil to something bigger, like the Earth itself? She flipped to the last page she'd marked. It had a single sentence. "They will not see until it sings." Sarah's skin tingled. There it was again. Singing, resonance, the idea that the coil could do more. She didn't know how, but she knew she had to keep going. The notebook wasn't just a book, it was a challenge. Tesla had left it behind, and somehow it had found. Heard it outside, the city was waking up. Dawn light crept through the window, turning the skyline pink. Sarah's eyes burned from staying up all night, but she wasn't tired. She was alive, buzzing like one of Tesla's coils. She thought about Colorado, about the giant coil that lit up the sky. Tesla had stood in that lab, watching lightning dance, believing he could change the world. Now Sarah was following his trail, chasing the same spark. She closed the notebook, her fingers lingering on the cover. This was just the beginning. Tesla's coils had started as a dream, a wild idea born in a dusty lab. But they'd grown into something real, something that still powered science today. Sarah didn't know where this puzzle would lead, but she knew one thing. She was going to build that strange coil from the notebook. She was going to make it sing. Chapter 3. Dreams of Wireless. Power Sarah's attic room was a mess of papers, coffee mugs, and tangled wires. The old notebook with Nikola Tesla's sketches sat open on her desk, its pages glowing under the weak light of a desk lamp. Outside, New York hummed with early morning noise, car horns, distant sirens, but Sarah barely noticed. She was lost in Tesla's world, chasing the secrets of his Tesla coil. Last night, she'd traced the coil's birth, from his New York lab to the lightning storms of Colorado Springs. Now she was stuck on his biggest dream, sending power through the air. No wires needed. The notebook hinted at something wild, and Sarah was determined to figure it out. She rubbed her eyes, her glasses foggy from too many hours awake. The notebook's latest page stared back at her, covered in Tesla's spidery handwriting. One line stood out. Power must flow free, like a river, through the sky. Sarah's heart thumped. Free power. That was Tesla's obsession. He didn't just want to light bulbs. He wanted to send electricity everywhere, to every home, every village, without cables or coal. It sounded like a fairy tale, but Tesla believed it was possible, and this notebook, this dusty, cracked book, might hold the key. Sarah leaned back, sipping cold coffee. She thought about Tesla's life in the early 1900s, when his dreams were at their peak. He was no longer the young inventor scraping by. By then he was famous, with a fancy lab and rich friends who funded his work. But fame didn't make him soft. Tesla worked harder than ever, chasing ideas that scared most people. His Tesla coil was already a wonder, spitting sparks and powering early radios. But he wanted more. He wanted to use the coil to send power across miles, maybe across oceans. Sarah could feel his excitement in the notebook's words, like he was whispering to her across time. She flipped to a sketch she'd found last night. A coil with tight spirals and strange connections. Next to it, Tesla had written, "The tower will sing when the Earth is ready." Tower? Sarah frowned. She knew about Tesla's biggest project, the Wardenclyffe Tower, a giant structure he built on Long Island in 1901. It was supposed to be his masterpiece, a station to send wireless power and messages around the world. But it never worked. The tower was torn down, and Tesla's dream died with it. Or did it? The notebook made her wonder, what if Wardenclyffe was more than a failure? Sarah grabbed her laptop, her fingers flying over the keys. She searched for Wardenclyffe Tower, pulling up grainy photos of a tall wooden frame topped with a metal dome. It looked like a rocket from an old movie, but it was real. Tesla had poured everything into it, his money, his heart, his coils. The tower was meant to use the earth itself as a giant wire, sending electricity through the ground and air. Sarah's mind raced. That sounded like the Earth song Tesla kept mentioning. Was Wardenclyffe connected to the weird coil in the notebook? She found an article about Tesla's plan. He believed the Earth and its atmosphere could carry electricity, like a giant battery. His coils would tune the energy, making it flow smoothly, without losing power. At Wardenclyffe, he built a massive Tesla coil, bigger than anything he'd made before. It was supposed to send signals to ships at sea, maybe even power to faraway cities. Sarah's pulse quickened. This was huge. If Tesla was right, it could have changed everything. No more power lines, no more smoky factories. But the article said the project failed. Tesla ran out of money, and his backers pulled out. By 1917, the tower was scrapped, and Tesla was broke. Sarah's stomach twisted. She felt sorry for Tesla. He was so close, but the world wasn't ready. She thought about her own life, teaching physics to kids who didn't care, tinkering with gadgets in her tiny apartment. She wasn't rich or famous, but she understood chasing a dream. She looked at the notebook again, at the coil sketch. It didn't look like the ones Tesla used at Wardenclyffe, at least not from the pictures she'd seen. Was this a new design? Something he never got to build? She grabbed a pencil and started sketching her own version of the coil, copying Tesla's notes. She wasn't an expert, but she knew enough. A Tesla coil needed a primary coil, a secondary coil, a capacitor to store energy, and a spark gap to let the electricity jump. The coils had to resonate, vibrate at the same speed, to build up huge voltage. That's what made the sparks fly. But Tesla's sketch had extra parts, like a second capacitor, and wires looped in a funny way. Sarah chewed her lip. What was he trying to do? Her phone buzzed, snapping her out of her thoughts. It was a text from Marcus, her history buff friend. Found some Tesla patents from 1900, he wrote. One mentions a coil for earth resonance. Want me to send it? Sarah's heart leapt. Earth resonance. That was exactly what she was chasing. Yes, now, she typed back, her fingers shaking. If Tesla had patented a coil like the one in the notebook, it could prove he was onto something real. While she waited, Sarah thought about Tesla's time at Wardenclyffe. He wasn't just building a tower, he was building a vision. He believed electricity could be free, like air or water. He'd stand in his lab, watching his coils spark, imagining a world where everyone had light. Sarah admired that. Today, power companies charged big bills, and poor towns went dark. What if Tesla's idea could fix that? What if his coil could send clean energy, no wires, no waste. Her laptop pinged with Marcus's email. She opened it, scanning the potent. It was dense, full of old-timey words, but she caught the important parts. Tesla described a coil that could tune to the Earth's natural frequencies, sending power with minimal loss. Sarah's eyes widened. Minimal loss? That was a big deal. Modern power lines lost tons of energy as heat. If Tesla's coil could send power without waste, it could change how we lived. The patent didn't match the notebook's sketch exactly, but it was close. Sarah felt a spark of hope. She was on the right track. She went back to the notebook, her hands sweaty. A new page had a drawing of the Wardenclyffe Tower, but it was different from the photos. The coil inside was huge, with extra wires looping around it. Tesla had written, "The tower failed, but the coil lives." Sarah's breath caught. Failed? Everyone knew Wardenclyffe didn't work. But Tesla's words sounded like he hadn't given up. Was he saying the coil, the one in the notebook, could still work? Sarah stood up, pacing her tiny room. Her cat, Edison, watched from the couch, his tail flicking. She thought about Tesla's life after Wardenclyffe. He was never the same. He lost his money, his lab, his spark. He lived in cheap hotels, feeding pigeons and scribbling ideas no one read. When he died in 1943, his papers were taken by the government, locked away, or lost. Sarah wondered how this notebook survived. Had Tesla hidden it? Had someone stolen it? And why did it end up in her hands? She sat back down, her mind buzzing. The notebook was more than a book. It was a puzzle. Tesla's talk of rivers through the sky and earth resonance wasn't just poetry. He was describing a new way to use his coil, maybe a way to make his wireless dream real. Sarah thought about her own experiments. She'd built a small Tesla coil once, just for fun. It sparked and hummed, but it was nothing special. Could she build the coil from the notebook? Could she make it sing, like Tesla said? Her phone buzzed again. Another text from Marcus. Found something else. Tesla wrote a letter in 1902 saying Wardenclyffe was only the beginning. Want me to dig more? Sarah grinned. Marcus was a genius. Keep digging, she replied. She needed every clue she could get. Tesla's letter made her think he hadn't given up on wireless power. Even after Wardenclyffe fell apart, maybe the notebook was his last try, a design he never got to test. Sarah flipped to another page. This one had a single sentence, underlined. The coil must wake the earth. Wake the earth? It sounded crazy, but it fit with everything else. Tesla believed the earth had its own energy, like a giant heartbeat. Scientists today knew about the Schumann resonance, a low hum caused by lightning in the atmosphere. Had Tesla found a way to tap into that hum, to use it for power? Sarah's head spun. This was big, too big for her tiny attic. She grabbed notebook of her own, and started writing. She listed what she knew. Tesla's coils used resonance to build voltage. They could send signals, like in early radios. Wardenclyffe was supposed to send power, but it failed. The notebook's coil was different, with extra parts and talk of earth resonance. Sarah tapped her pencil. She wasn't sure how it all fit, but she felt close to something. She thought about building the coil herself, but she'd need help. Her university lab had tools, but it wasn't fancy. Maybe Marcus could find more patents. Or she could talk to her old professor, Dr. Lee, who loved weird science. Her lamp flickered, making her jump. "Okay, Tesla, I get it," she muttered, laughing nervously. The flicker reminded her of electricity, how it powered her life but wasn't perfect. Power plants burned dirty fuel, and wires wasted energy. Tesla's dream of free power could fix that, but it was risky. What if his coil was too strong? What if it caused blackouts like in Colorado? Sarah shook her head. She wasn't ready to build anything yet. She needed to understand the notebook first. She flipped to the last page she'd marked. It had a sketch of the odd coil, with a note, "Not for towers, but for truth." Sarah's skin tingled. Not for towers? Was Tesla saying this coil wasn't meant for Wardenclyffe? Was it a new idea? Something he worked on later? She didn't know, but she felt a pull, like Tesla was daring her to keep going. She thought about his life, how he never stopped dreaming, even when the world turned against him. She wasn't like that. She got tired, she doubted herself, but right now she felt his fire. Outside, the city glowed with morning light. Sarah's eyes burned, but she wasn't sleepy. She was alive, like a coil buzzing with power. She closed the notebook, her fingers tracing its worn cover. Tesla's dream of wireless power had died with Wardenclyffe, but maybe it wasn't gone. Maybe this coil, this strange design, was his last gift to the world. Sarah didn't know if she could build it, but she knew one thing. She had to try. The Earth was waiting to wake. Chapter 4. The Science Behind the Sparks. Sarah's attic room was a jungle of papers and wires, with Nikola Tesla's old notebook at the center of it all. The leather cover was worn, but its pages burned with ideas. She'd spent days lost in Tesla's world, tracing his Tesla coil from its birth in New York to its wild experiments in Colorado and his failed dream of wireless power at Wardenclyffe. Now she needed to dig deeper. The notebook's strange, coil sketch and cryptic notes about resonance and Earth's song were driving her crazy. To crack the mystery, she had to understand the science of the Tesla coil, how it worked, why it sparked, and what Tesla thought it could do. Sarah sat at her desk, a cold mug of tea forgotten beside her. The notebook lay open to a page with a coil drawing. Its spirals tight and wires looped in odd ways. Tesla's handwriting scrawled across it. "The spark is only the start. Resonance is the soul." She chewed her pencil, her glasses slipping down her nose. Resonance again. That word was everywhere in the notebook, like a key she hadn't turned yet. She knew the Tesla coil was all about resonance, but what was Tesla hiding? She needed to break it down, piece by piece, like a puzzle. She took a deep breath and thought about what she knew. A Tesla coil was a machine that made lightning. Big, crackling sparks that could light up a room or make your hair stand on end. It wasn't magic, though it looked like it. It was science, and Sarah loved science because it made sense, even when it seemed wild. She grabbed a blank notebook and started writing, sketching a simple coil as she went. If she could understand the basics, maybe she'd see what Tesla's weird design was for. A Tesla coil had a few main parts. First, there was the primary coil, a thick wire wrapped a few times around a base. Then came the secondary coil, a taller, thinner wire wrapped hundreds of times. Both coils sat on a frame, usually with air or a tube in the middle. You sent electricity through the primary coil, and it made a magnetic field like a push that woke up the secondary coil. The secondary coil would vibrate, building up more and more energy until, bam! It shot out as a spark. Sarah drew the coils, her pencil scratching fast. She added a capacitor, a part that stored electricity like a bucket, and a spark gap, a tiny space where the electricity jumped, making a loud snap. The trick was resonance. Sarah wrote the word in big letters. Resonance was when two things vibrated at the same speed, like two kids swinging together on a playground. In a Tesla coil, the primary and secondary coils had to match perfectly. If they did, the energy grew huge, turning a small jolt into a bolt of lightning. Sarah smiled, remembering her own coil experiment. She'd built a tiny one in her apartment, using a kit from a science store. It sparked and buzzed, but it was nothing like Tesla's giants. Still, it taught her how resonance worked. Get it right, and the sparks flew. Get it wrong, and you just got a hum. She flipped to Tesla's sketch. In the notebook, it looked like a normal coil, but not quite. The secondary coil had more turns, and the primary was connected to an extra capacitor. Tesla's note said, "Tune it to the heart, not the eye." Sarah frowned. The heart? Was he being poetic, or did he mean something real? She thought about Tesla's life in the 1890s, when he built his first coils. He was in his New York lab, a messy place full of wires and glass tubes. He'd show off his coils to crowds, making sparks dance while people clapped. But he wasn't just a showman. He was studying electricity, trying to learn its secrets. Sarah grabbed her laptop and searched Tesla Coil Science. She found a website that explained it in simple words. The Tesla coil was a transformer, a machine that changed electricity from low voltage to high voltage. Normal transformers powered houses, but Tesla's coils pushed voltage so high it leapt into the air as sparks. The website said Tesla used his coils to test high-frequency electricity, power that moved super fast, unlike the slow electricity in wall sockets. High-frequency power could do weird things, like glow in tubes or jump through skin without hurting. Sarah's eyes widened. That was cool. Tesla wasn't just making sparks. He was exploring a new kind of electricity. She thought about Tesla's notebook. His coils weren't just for shows or tests. He believed they could do more, like send power without wires or signals across the world. She searched again. This time for Tesla coil uses. The results surprised her. Tesla's coils helped build early radios, sending signals through the air. They were used in old medical machines, like ones that made X-ray pictures. Even today, scientists use them in labs to study plasma, the hot, glowing gas in stars. Sarah's heart raced. Tesla's coils were still alive, still sparking in modern science. But the notebook's coil felt different, like it was meant for something bigger. She went back to the sketch, her fingers tracing the lines. The extra capacitor and tight spirals bugged her. Normal coils didn't need those. She wrote down what she knew about capacitors. They stored energy and released it fast, like a spring. Maybe Tesla's extra capacitor made the coil store more. power or release it differently. She didn't know, but she felt close to something. She thought about resonance again. In science, resonance could be powerful. It's why a singer's note could break a glass, or a bridge could shake apart in a storm. Tesla was obsessed with resonance, with finding the right tune for his machines. What if his notebook coil was tuned to something new? Sarah's phone buzzed, pulling her out of her thoughts. It was Marcus, her history-loving friend. "Found another Tesla patent," he texted. "It's about coils and global resonance. Sending it now." Sarah's stomach flipped. Global resonance? That sounded like the Earth song Tesla kept mentioning. She opened her email, scanning the patent. It was from 1900, full of hard words, but she got the idea. Tesla described a coil that could vibrate with the Earth's natural rhythms, sending power or signals with almost no loss. Sarah's jaw dropped. No loss. That was huge. Today, power lines wasted tons of energy as heat. If Tesla's coil could send power perfectly, it could change everything. The patent didn't match the notebook's sketch exactly, but it was close. The coils were similar, with extra parts for tuning. Sarah wrote down the word tuning. It was like Tesla was trying to make his coil sing with the earth, like a guitar string matching a note. She thought about the Schumann resonance, a low hum scientists found in the atmosphere, caused by lightning bouncing around the planet. Had Tesla known about it? Had he built a coil to tap into that hum? Sarah stood up, pacing her tiny room. Her cat, Edison, yawned from the couch, unimpressed. She laughed, but her mind was racing. Tesla's coils were simple, but clever. They used resonance to turn small power into big sparks. But the notebook's coil was different, with its extra capacitor and tight spirals. Was it built to resonate with something bigger, like the Earth itself? She thought about Tesla's Wardenclyffe Tower, his failed dream of wireless power. He'd used a giant coil there, trying to send energy through the ground and air. Maybe the notebook coil was a new try, a better design he never got to build. She sat back down, flipping to a new page in the notebook. It had a note. The spark is the voice, but the resonance is the heart. Sarah's skin tingled. There it was again, resonance as the heart. She thought about Tesla's life after Wardenclyffe. He'd lost everything, his money, his lab, his hope. But he kept writing, kept dreaming. This notebook felt like his last stand, a secret he left behind. Sarah wondered how it ended up in that bookstore, in a crate under a staircase. Had Tesla hidden it? Had someone taken it? And why did it feel like it was meant for her? She grabbed her own notebook and started listing questions. Why the extra capacitor? What was global resonance? Could the coil really send power without wires? She thought about her own experiments. Her tiny Tesla coil had sparked, but it was weak. Building the notebook's coil would be harder. She'd need better tools, maybe her university's lab. She could ask Dr. Lee, her old professor, for help. He loved crazy ideas, and he had access to equipment. Her lamp flickered, making her jump. "Tesla, stop it!" she muttered, half smiling. The flicker made her think about electricity, how it powered her life but wasn't perfect. Power plants burned coal, and wires leaked energy. Tesla's dream of free, clean power was still a dream. But what if his coil could make it real? Sarah's heart pounded. She wasn't sure if she could build the coil, but she wanted to try. She wanted to know what Tesla meant by resonance is the heart. She flipped to another page in the notebook. It had a single sentence, underlined, "They will not see until it sings." Sarah's breath caught, singing again. It wasn't just a word. It was a promise. Tesla believed his coil could do something amazing, something the world wasn't ready for. She thought about his life, how he worked alone, ignored by most. He was strange, feeding pigeons and talking about signals from space, but he was brilliant. Sarah wasn't like him. She had friends, a messy life, but she felt his drive. She wanted to understand, to discover, to make a difference. Her phone buzzed again. Marcus found a letter Tesla wrote in 1903. He said his coils could change the Earth's energy. Want it? Sarah grinned. Marcus was a hero. Send it, she replied. She needed every clue. Tesla's letter could prove he was working on something new, something like the notebook's coil. She thought about building it, but it scared her. What if it was too strong? What if it caused trouble, like Tesla's Colorado experiments? She pushed the thought away. First, she had to understand the science. Sarah looked at the notebook, its pages glowing under the lamp. The Tesla coil was simple but powerful, a machine that turned small energy into big sparks. Its science, resonance, voltage, frequency, was clear, but Tesla's notes made it mysterious. The extra capacitor, the tight spirals, the talk of Earth's song. It all pointed to something more. Sarah didn't know if she could solve it, but she knew one thing. She couldn't stop now. The coil's sparks were just the start. Its heart was waiting to sing. Chapter 5. From sideshow to science, Sarah's attic room was a storm of papers, wires, and half-empty coffee mugs. Nikola Tesla's old notebook sat on her desk. Its leather cover cracked, but its pages alive with secrets. She'd been chasing Tesla's Tesla coil for days, piecing together its birth, its role in his dream of wireless power, and the science that made it spark. The notebook's strange coil sketch, with its tight spirals and cryptic notes about resonance and Earth's song, kept her up at night. Now, she needed to know how the Tesla coil went from a dazzling toy to a tool for serious science. If she could understand its journey, maybe she'd unlock the mystery Tesla had hidden. Sarah leaned over the notebook, her glasses foggy from too many hours awake. The lamp cast a warm glow on a page with Tesla's handwriting. The coil speaks, but only to those who listen. She frowned, tapping her pencil. Tesla's coils were famous for their sparks, but this sounded deeper, like the coil had a purpose beyond flashing lights. She thought about its history. In the 1890s, Tesla used his coils to wow crowds, making lightning dance in his New York lab. But over time, they did more than entertain. They helped build radios, powered early medical machines, and even sparked modern experiments. Sarah needed to trace that path to see if the notebook's coil fit in. She grabbed her laptop, her fingers quick on the keys. The Tesla coil started as a showpiece. Tesla, tall and sharp-dressed, would stand in his lab, letting sparks fly while people gasped. He'd light bulbs without wires, make tubes glow, and even send electricity through his own body to prove it was safe. Sarah smiled, imagining the crowds, ladies in big hats, men in suits, all thinking Tesla was part magician. But he wasn't. He was a scientist, using his coils to study high-frequency electricity, the fast-moving power that could do strange things like jump through air or glow in glass. Sarah searched Tesla Coil history, pulling up old photos. One showed a fair in the 1900s, with a coil spitting sparks while kids stared, wide-eyed. Back then, coils were a sideshow, like fire eaters or strongmen. People loved the noise and flash, but scientists saw more. Tesla's coils could make huge voltages, turning small power into big energy. That made them perfect for experiments. Sarah's heart beat faster. The notebook's coil, with its extra capacitor and odd spirals, didn't look like a sideshow toy. Was it built for science, something Tesla never shared? She flipped to the sketch in the notebook. It was different from the coils in old photos. The secondary coil had more turns, and the primary was wired to an extra part Tesla called a tuning condenser. His note said, "Not for show, but for truth." Sarah's stomach flipped. Truth? That word felt heavy, like Tesla was hiding something big. She thought about the coil's early uses. In the 1890s, scientists used coils to make X-rays, the beams that could see through skin. Tesla himself took X-ray pictures, amazed at how his coils could power such discoveries. Sarah wrote X-rays in her own notebook, her pencil scratching fast. The Tesla coil wasn't just a spark machine, it was a key to new science. Her laptop pinged with a new email from Marcus, her history buff friend. Found a 1901 article. He wrote, says Tesla's coils were used in spark telegraphy for wireless messages. Also, check this. Some scientists used them for particle experiments, sending links. Sarah's eyes lit up. Wireless messages? That was huge. She opened the links, scanning fast. In the early 1900s, Tesla's coils helped send radio signals across oceans before radios got fancy. The coils made strong, high-frequency sparks that could carry messages through the air. Sarah thought about her phone, how it sent texts without wires. Tesla's coils were part of that story, a spark that led to today. The article also mentioned particle experiments. Scientists used coils to shoot tiny bits of matter, like electrons, in early studies of atoms. Sarah's jaw dropped. Atoms? That was serious science, the kind that built nuclear reactors and lasers. She hadn't known Tesla's coils went that far. She wrote particles next to X-rays in her notebook. The Tesla coil was a bridge from sideshows to labs, from flashing lights to cutting-edge discoveries. But the notebook's coil felt like it went even further. Sarah leaned back, rubbing her eyes. Her cat, Edison, napped on the couch, unbothered by her frenzy. She thought about Tesla's life in the early 1900s. After his Wardenclyffe Tower failed, he lost his spark. He dreamed of sending power without wires, but the world wasn't ready. Still, his coils lived on. Other scientists took them up, using them in ways Tesla might not have imagined. Sarah wondered if he knew. Did he sit in his hotel room, feeding pigeons, hearing about X-rays and radios powered by his invention? Did he write this notebook then, hoping someone would find its secrets? She searched again, this time for Tesla Coil modern uses. Yeah, results were wild. Today, coils were used in labs to study plasma, the glowing gas in stars and lightning. They helped test wireless power, like charging phones without plugs. Some even used coils in fusion experiments, trying to make clean energy from atoms. Sarah's heart raced. Fusion was the holy grail, power that could light the world without pollution. If Tesla's coils were part of that, they were still changing history. She thought about the notebook's note. Not for show, but for truth. Was Tesla's truth about clean energy, like fusion? She flipped to a new page in the notebook. It had a single line. "The coil can hold the Earth's breath." Sarah's skin prickled. Earth's breath. It sounded like poetry, but it fit with Tesla's talk of Earth resonance. She thought about the Schumann resonance, the low hum of the Earth's atmosphere caused by lightning. Scientists studied it today, using tools Tesla could only dream of. Had he known about it? Had he built his coil to tap into that hum, to pull energy from the Earth itself? Sarah's phone buzzed. Another text from Marcus. Found a 1910 paper. Scientists used Tesla's coils to study electrical waves in the ground. Sounds like your Earth stuff. Want it? Sarah grinned. Marcus was a lifesaver. "Send it," she replied, her fingers shaking. She opened the paper, skimming it. It described experiments where coils sent pulses through the Earth like ripples in a pond. The scientists thought it could help find oil or send signals. Sarah's mind spun. Tesla's Wardenclyffe was supposed to use the Earth to carry power. Was the notebook's coil part of that idea, but better? She grabbed her own notebook and started listing what she knew. Tesla's coils started as showpieces, making sparks for crowds. But they became tools for science. X-rays, radios, particle studies, plasma, fusion. They were simple but powerful, using resonance to turn small energy into big results. Resonance was the key, the soul Tesla wrote about. The notebook's coil, with its extra capacitor and tight spirals, seemed built for something new, maybe to resonate with the Earth's own energy. Sarah wrote Earth Resonance and circled it. She was close, but not there yet. She thought about building the notebook's coil herself. Her tiny Tesla coil experiment had been fun, but weak. This one would be harder. She'd need better parts, maybe her university's lab. She could ask Dr. Lee, her old professor who loved weird projects, but it scared her. Tesla's coils were strong, too strong sometimes. In Colorado, he'd caused a blackout with one. What if this coil was even wilder? She pushed the thought away. First, she had to understand it. Sarah flipped to another page, in the notebook. It had a sketch of the coil with a note. "The spark is the call. The resonance is the answer." Her breath caught. Call and answer? It was like Tesla was saying the coil could talk to something, maybe the Earth. She thought about resonance in nature. It could be gentle, like a guitar string humming, or huge, like a bridge shaking apart in a storm. Tesla loved resonance, believed it could unlock secrets. What if his coil was tuned to the Earth's rhythm, to pull out its energy? Her lamp flickered, making her jump. "Tesla, chill," she muttered, laughing nervously. The flicker reminded her of electricity, how it powered her life but wasn't perfect. Power plants burned dirty fuel, and wires wasted energy. Tesla's coils, even today, were helping scientists find better ways, like fusion or wireless charging. The notebook's coil could be part of that, a step toward clean, free power. Sarah's heart pounded. She wasn't sure if she could build it, but she wanted to try. She searched one more time, looking for Tesla coil accidents. She needed to know the risks. The results were scary. Old coils had started fires, shocked people, even messed with radio signals. Today's coils were safer, but still tricky. Sarah thought about Tesla's Colorado blackout. His coil was so strong it sucked up the town's power. The notebook's coil, with its extra parts, might be stronger. She wrote safety in her notebook, underlining it. If she built it, she'd need to be careful. Her phone buzzed again. Marcus found a Tesla letter from 1915. He talks about coils unlocking Earth's power. Sounds big. Sending it. Sarah's eyes widened. 1915? That was late in Tesla's life, when he was broke and alone. Why was he still writing about coils? She opened the letter, her hands shaky. Tesla wrote about a coil that could draw energy from the Earth's core, like pulling water from a well. Sarah's jaw dropped. The Earth's core? That was nuts, but it fit with the notebook's Earth's breath. Was Tesla dreaming, or was he on to something? She looked at the notebook, its pages glowing under the lamp. The Tesla coil had come a long way, from sideshow sparks to science labs. It helped build radios, X-rays, and plasma studies, and it was still pushing boundaries. But the notebook's coil was different, built for truth, not show. Sarah didn't know if it could really tap the Earth's energy, but she felt its pull. Tesla had started as a showman, but he ended as a dreamer, leaving clues for someone to find. That someone was her. Outside, the city buzzed with morning light. Sarah's eyes burned, but she wasn't tired. She was alive, like a coil sparking in the dark. She closed the notebook, her fingers lingering on its cover. The Tesla coil's journey wasn't over. From sideshow to science, it had changed the whole world. Now it was her turn to take it further. The coil's truth was waiting, and she was ready to listen. Chapter 6. Modern Marvels. Sarah's attic room was a mess of papers, wires, and empty tea mugs, with Nikola Tesla's notebook at the heart of it all. Its worn leather cover hid pages full of sketches and cryptic notes about his Tesla coil, a machine that made lightning dance. She'd traced the coil's story from its birth in the 1890s, through its wild dreams of wireless power, and its leap from sideshow sparks to serious science. The notebook's strange coil design, with tight spirals and talk of resonance and Earth's song, kept her awake, buzzing with questions. Now she needed to know how Tesla's coil lived on today, in 2025, and if its modern uses could unlock the notebook's secrets. Sarah sat at her desk, the lamp casting a soft glow on the notebook. A page was open to Tesla's spidery handwriting. The coil's truth will shine when the world is ready. She chewed her pencil, her glasses slipping down her nose. Shine? Tesla's coils were still around, sparking in labs and even art shows, but the notebook's coil felt different. like it was meant for something bigger than sparks. To crack its mystery, she had to see how Tesla's invention fit into today's world, its marvels, its science, and maybe its future. She took a deep breath and thought about the Tesla Coil's journey. In Tesla's day, it was a wonder, shooting lightning to wow crowds or power early radios and X-ray machines. Over time, it became a tool for scientists helping study atoms and plasma. But what about now? Sarah grabbed her laptop, her fingers quick on the keys. She searched Tesla Coil modern uses, eager to see where the coil stood in 2025. The results were wild. Tesla's invention was alive, sparking in ways she hadn't imagined. One article talked about plasma research. Tesla coils made plasma, the hot glowing gas found in stars and lightning. Scientists used them in labs to study how plasma behaved, which could help build fusion reactors, machines that made clean energy by smashing atoms together. Sarah's heart raced. Fusion was a big deal, the kind of power that could light cities without polluting. If Tesla's coils were helping, they were still changing the world. She wrote plasma in her notebook, her pencil scratching fast. The notebook's coil, with its extra capacitor and odd spirals, might fit into this somehow. She scrolled further, finding a video of a musical Tesla coil. It was wild, coils shooting sparks in time with music, like a light show at a concert. The sparks made sound waves, turning electricity into songs. Sarah grinned, imagining Tesla's face if he saw it. He loved music and once said his coils could sing. Was this what he meant? She doubted it. The notebook's notes about Earth's song sounded deeper, like a science secret, not a stage trick. Still, she wrote musical coils in her notebook. It showed how versatile Tesla's invention was, even today. Another article caught her eye. Wireless power. Scientists were using Tesla coils to test ways to charge phones or cars without plugs. It wasn't perfect. Most setups only worked a few feet away. But it was real. Sarah's jaw dropped. Wireless power was Tesla's big dream, the one he tried at Wardenclyffe in 1901. His tower failed, but now, over a century later, his coils were bringing the idea back. She thought about the notebook's coil, with its talk of resonance and Earth's breath. Could it be a better way to send power without wires? Sarah flipped to the notebook's sketch, her fingers brushing the page. The coil's tight spirals and extra capacitor bugged her. Normal coils didn't need those. Tesla's note said, not for sparks, but for harmony. Harmony? That sounded like resonance, the heart of every Tesla coil. Resonance was when two things vibrated together, like kids swinging in sync. In a coil, the primary and secondary coils had to match perfectly to build huge voltage, making sparks fly. But the notebook's coil seemed tuned for something else. Maybe the Earth itself. Sarah's stomach flipped. Was Tesla's harmony about tapping the Earth's energy, like the Schumann resonance, the low hum of the atmosphere? She searched Schumann resonance to be sure. The results said it was a natural frequency, around 7.83 Hertz, caused by lightning bouncing between the Earth and its atmosphere. Scientists studied it to track storms or even brainwaves. Sarah's eyes widened. Brainwaves? That was weird. but it showed how resonance connected everything. Tesla was obsessed with frequencies, believing they could unlock secrets. Had he built his coil to match the Earth's hum, to pull out its power? She wrote Schumann in her notebook, circling it. The notebook's coil might be a key to that idea. Her phone buzzed, snapping her out of her thoughts. It was Marcus, her history-loving friend. Found a 1920 Tesla interview, he texted. He talks about coils tuning to the Earth's pulse. Sounds like your stuff. Sending it. Sarah's heart leapt. 1920? That was late in Tesla's life, when he was broke and ignored. Why was he still talking about coils? She opened the file, scanning it fast. Tesla said his coils could draw energy from the planet's own rhythms, like a radio picking up a signal. Sarah's breath caught. That was it. The notebooks. Earth's song wasn't poetry. It was science. Tesla believed his coil could tap the Earth's energy, maybe for power or signals. She thought about Tesla's life in 1920. He was alone, living in cheap hotels, feeding pigeons in New York. Parks. His Wardenclyffe dream had crashed, and most people thought he was crazy. But he kept writing, kept dreaming. This notebook, with its strange coil, might be his last big idea, something he never got to build. Sarah felt a pang of sadness. Tesla was brilliant but lonely, chasing ideas the world didn't understand. She wasn't like that. She had friends, a cat, a messy life, but she felt his drive. She wanted to crack this puzzle, to make his dream real. Sarah went back to her laptop, searching Tesla Coil Experiments 2025. She found a lab in California using coils to test wireless power for electric cars. Another in Japan studied plasma for fusion. A third used coils to make tiny lightning bolts, helping understand storms. Sarah's mind spun. Tesla's coils were everywhere, from clean energy to weather science. She thought about her own experiments. Her tiny Tesla coil, built from a kit, had sparked but was weak. The notebook's coil would be harder to build, with its extra parts and weird design. She'd need her university's lab, maybe Dr. Lee's help. But it scared her. Tesla's coils were strong, too strong sometimes. In Colorado, he'd caused a blackout. What if this coil was wilder? She flipped to a new page in the notebook. It had a note. The coil will wake when the Earth is tuned. Sarah's skin prickled. Wake? Tuned. It sounded like Tesla was saying the coil could talk to the Earth, like a key fitting a lock. She thought about resonance in nature. It could be gentle, like a bell ringing, or huge, like a bridge shaking apart. Tesla believed resonance could do big things, like send power or pull energy from the planet. The notebook's coil, with its extra capacitor, might be built to resonate with the Earth's hum, to wake its power. Sarah wrote "Wake the Earth" in her notebook, her hand shaky. This was big, too big for her tiny attic. Her phone buzzed again. Marcus. Found a 223 article. Scientists used a Tesla coil to test Earth frequency power. It's close to your notebook stuff. Want it? Sarah grinned. Marcus was, hero. Send it, she replied. She opened the article, her eyes racing over the words. A team in Europe had used a coil to send low-frequency pulses through the ground, trying to mimic the Earth's resonance. It wasn't for power yet, just tests, but it worked. Sarah's jaw dropped. This was real. Scientists today were chasing Tesla's ideas, even if they didn't know it. The notebook's coil could be a step ahead, a design Tesla never shared. She thought about building it. Her university lab had tools, but not the best. Dr. Lee might let her use them, but she'd need parts, special wires, a strong capacitor, maybe a custom frame. She'd built a small coil before, but this was different. The notebook's design was complex, and Tesla's notes were vague. She wrote "build coil" in her notebook, then added a question mark. It felt risky. What if it was too strong? What if it messed with power lines or started a fire? She remembered Tesla's Colorado blackout and shivered. She needed more answers before she tried. Sarah flipped to another page in the notebook. It had a sketch of the coil, with a note: "The spark is the cry. The resonance is the song." Her breath caught. Song again. Tesla kept saying his coil could sing, not just spark. She thought about the musical coils she'd seen online, how they turned electricity into music. That was cool. But the notebook's song felt bigger, like a harmony with the earth. She thought about modern science. Fusion, wireless power, plasma, all used Tesla's coils. The notebook's coil could be part of that. A missing piece for clean energy, or something even wilder. Her lamp flickered, making her jump. "Tesla, stop!" she muttered, laughing nervously. The flicker reminded her of electricity, how it powered her life but wasn't perfect. Power plants burned coal, and wires wasted energy. Tesla's dream of free, clean power was still a dream, but his coils were helping make it real. The notebook's coil could be a breakthrough, a way to tap the Earth's energy without pollution. Sarah's heart pounded. She wasn't sure if she could build it, but she wanted to try. She searched one last time, looking for Tesla coil risks. The results were sobering. Coils could start fires, shock people, or mess with electronics. Modern coils were safer, but still tricky. Sarah thought about Tesla's accidents, blackouts, blown fuses, even rumors of earthquakes. The notebook's coil, with its extra power, might be dangerous. She wrote "safety" in her notebook, underlining it twice. If she built it, she'd need to be careful. Maybe test it in a shielded lab. Her phone buzzed. Marcus found a Tesla note from 1930. He says coils could power the future. Last one for now. Good luck. Sarah smiled. 1930? Tesla was old then. Almost forgotten. Why was he still dreaming of coils? She opened the note, her hands shaky. Tesla wrote about a coil that could pull energy from the Earth's heart, like a pump drawing water. Sarah's eyes widened. The Earth's heart. It was wild, but it matched the notebook's Earth's breath. Tesla believed his coil could do something huge, and he left it for someone to find. Sarah looked at the notebook, its pages glowing under the lamp. Tesla's coils were modern marvels, sparking in labs and pushing science forward. From plasma to fusion, they were part of big ideas. The notebook's coil was different, built for harmony, not just sparks. Sarah didn't know if it could really wake the Earth, but she felt its call. Tesla had dreamed of a better world, and now it was her turn to chase that dream. The coil's song was waiting, and she was ready to hear it. Chapter 7 Unveiling the secret Sarah's attic room was a chaos of papers, wires, and coffee mugs, with Nikola Tesla's notebook as its beating heart. The old book, its leather cracked and pages yellowed, held sketches and notes that had consumed her for days. She'd followed the Tesla Coil story from its sparking birth in the 1890s, through its dreams of wireless power, its leap from sideshow to science, and its role in modern marvels like fusion and plasma research. The notebook's strange, coil design, with tight spirals and cryptic hints about resonance and Earth's song, kept her up, buzzing with questions. Now she was close to cracking its biggest secret, a hidden breakthrough Tesla had never shared. Sarah sat at her desk, the lamp casting a warm glow on the notebook. A page lay open, showing Tesla's spidery handwriting. The truth is in the coil's heart, waiting to wake. Her heart thumped. Wake! That word felt alive, like a promise. The notebook's coil, with its extra capacitor and odd spirals, wasn't like the ones Tesla showed the world. His notes about Earth resonance and harmony hinted at something huge, maybe a way to pull energy from the planet itself. Sarah needed to know what Tesla had discovered and why he'd kept it secret. If she could understand, she might unlock a power that could change everything. She rubbed her eyes, her glasses foggy from too many sleepless nights. The notebook's sketch stared back at her, its tight spirals and extra parts, a puzzle she was close to solving. Tesla's words echoed in her head, not for sparks, but for truth. She'd learned that his coils were more than showpieces. They'd helped build radios, X-rays, and modern fusion experiments. But this coil felt different, like a dream he'd buried. Sarah grabbed her laptop, her fingers quick on the keys. She needed to dig into Tesla's later years, when he was alone and writing these notes, to find the breakthrough he'd hidden. Tesla's life after 1917 was rough. His Wardenclyffe Tower, meant to send wireless power, had failed, leaving him broke and forgotten. By the 1920s, he lived in cheap New York hotels, feeding pigeons and scribbling ideas no one read. Sarah searched Tesla late inventions, pulling up scraps of his final years. In 1930, he talked about Earth energy and coils that could tap the planet's pulse. Most people thought he was crazy, but Sarah didn't. The notebook proved he was still sharp, still chasing something big. She found a 1935 interview where he claimed his coils could change how we use power forever. Her pulse raced. That sounded like the notebook's coil, a secret he took to his grave in 1943. She flipped to a new page in the notebook. It had a note. The coil's secret is in its tune, matched to the Earth's breath. Sarah's stomach flipped. Earth's breath again. She'd learned about the Schumann resonance, the low hum of the Earth's atmosphere at 783 Hertz, caused by lightning bouncing around the planet. Scientists studied it for storms, and even brainwaves. Tesla didn't know the term, but he was obsessed with frequencies, believing they could unlock energy. Sarah wrote Schumann resonance in her own notebook, circling it. Was Tesla's coil tuned to this hum, to pull power from the Earth like a radio picking up a signal? Her phone buzzed, pulling her from her thoughts. It was Marcus, her history buff friend. Found a 1937 Tesla letter, he texted. He says his latest coil could draw limitless energy. Sending it. Sarah's heart leapt. 1937? Tesla was old then, almost out of time. Why was he still writing about coils? She opened the letter, her eyes racing over the words. Described a coil that could resonate with the Earth's core, sending power with no loss. Sarah's jaw dropped. No loss? Modern power lines wasted tons of energy as heat. If Tesla's coil could send power perfectly, it could light homes, charge cars, even power whole cities without pollution. The letter's coil sounded like the notebooks, with extra parts for tuning. She was close, so close. Sarah grabbed her own notebook and started sketching the coil from Tesla's sketch. She wasn't an expert, but she knew the basics. A Tesla coil had a primary coil, a secondary coil, a capacitor to store energy, and a spark gap to let electricity jump. The coils had to resonate, vibrate at the same speed, to build huge voltage, making sparks fly. But Tesla's notebook coil had an extra capacitor and tighter spirals, wired in a way she didn't understand. She drew it carefully, adding the extra part Tesla called a tuning condenser. His note said, "Match the Earth, and power will flow." Sarah's hand shook. Match the Earth. That was it, the breakthrough. Tesla believed his coil could resonate with the Earth's natural frequency, pulling energy like a pump drawing water. She thought about modern science. In 2025, scientists use Tesla coils for plasma research, fusion experiments, and wireless charging. Fusion was the big one. Clean energy from atoms, no coal or gas. But fusion was hard, needing huge machines and tons of power. Sarah's mind spun. What if Tesla's coil could make it easier? What if it could tap the Earth's energy, feeding fusion reactors with a steady, clean flow? She wrote fusion in her notebook, underlining it. The notebook's coil could be a missing piece, a way to make Tesla's dream of free power real. Her phone buzzed again. Marcus. Found a 1940 Tesla note. He says the coil's secret is hidden in plain sight. Last one for now. Good luck. Sarah grinned. Marcus was a hero. She opened the note, her fingers trembling. Tesla wrote about a coil that could unlock the Earth's heart, stored in a design no one will see until they listen. Sarah's breath caught. Listen, that was the Earth's song again. Tesla was saying his coil's secret was right there, in its design, waiting for someone to build it. She looked at the notebook's sketch, its spirals glowing under the lamp. This was it, the breakthrough. Tesla had designed a coil to resonate with the Earth, to pull energy with no waste, and he'd hidden it in this book. Sarah stood up, pacing her tiny room. Her cat, Edison, watched from the couch, his tail flicking. She thought about Tesla's life, how he'd dreamed of free power for everyone. He wasn't like other inventors, chasing money or fame. He wanted to light the world, to give every home warmth and light. But the world wasn't ready, and he died alone, his papers scattered or lost. Sarah wondered how this notebook survived, ending up in a dusty bookstore crate. Had Tesla hidden it? Had someone saved it? It felt like fate that she'd found it, like Tesla was passing her the torch. She sat back down, her heart pounding. She needed to build the coil to test Tesla's breakthrough. Her university lab had tools, and Dr. Lee, her old professor, might help. but it scared her. Tesla's coils were strong. His Colorado experiments caused blackouts, and this coil sounded stronger. She thought about her own tiny Tesla coil, built from a kit. It sparked, but it was weak. The notebook's coil, with its extra capacitor and earth-tuning design, could be wild. What if it messed with power lines or started a fire? She wrote "safety" in her notebook, circling it twice. She'd need a shielded lab, maybe a team. Sarah flipped to another page in the notebook. It had a single line, underlined, "The coil will sing when the earth is ready." Her skin prickled. Sing? Tesla kept saying that, like his coil could talk to the planet. She thought about resonance in science. It could be small, like a bell, ringing, or huge, like a bridge shaking apart. Tesla believed resonance could pull energy from the earth, like tuning a radio to a clear signal. The notebook's coil, with its tight spirals and extra parts, was built for that. Sarah's mind raced. If it worked, it could power fusion, charge cities, even replace dirty power plants. It could be the clean energy the world needed. She grabbed her laptop and searched Earth Resonance Energy 2025. The results were thin, but one article stood out. A lab in Sweden was testing low-frequency coils to pull tiny amounts of energy from the ground, mimicking the Schumann resonance. It wasn't much, just enough to light a bulb, but it worked. Sarah's eyes widened. Scientists were chasing Tesla's idea. Even now, the notebook's coil could be a step ahead, a design that made their work bigger, better. She wrote Sweden Lab in her notebook, her hand shaky. This was real. Tesla's secret was possible. Her lamp flickered, making her jump. "Tesla, stop it!" she muttered, half laughing. The flicker reminded her of electricity, how it powered her life but wasn't perfect. Power plants burned coal, and wires wasted energy. Tesla's dream of clean, free power was still a dream, but his coils were helping. Fusion, wireless charging, plasma. The notebook's coil could be the next step, a way to tap the Earth's energy without harm. Sarah's heart pounded. She wasn't sure if she could build it, but she had to try. She thought about Tesla's breakthrough. The coil's extra capacitor and tight spirals were for tuning, to match the Earth's frequency. Normal coils made sparks, but this one could pull power, like a windmill catching the breeze. She sketched it again, adding notes. The primary coil sent a signal. The secondary caught the Earth's hum, and the extra capacitor stored the energy, releasing it smoothly. It was simple but genius, like all of Tesla's ideas. Sarah's stomach twisted with excitement and fear. If it worked, it could change the world. If it didn't, she'd be chasing a ghost. Her phone buzzed. A text from Dr. Lee. "Heard you're working on something big. Lab's free tomorrow. Want to talk?" Sarah grinned. Dr. Lee was a science nerd, always up for crazy ideas. She typed back, "Yes, got a Tesla thing. Need your brain." If anyone could help her build the coil, it was him. But she'd need more. Parts, a safe space, maybe Marcus's help with old patents. She wrote team in her notebook, feeling less alone. Sarah flipped to the last page she'd marked in the notebook. It had a sketch of the coil, with a note, "The truth will wake when the coil sings." Her breath caught. Wake. Sing. Tesla. believed his coil could do something amazing, something the world wasn't ready for. She thought about his life, how he dreamed big, even when the world laughed. Sarah wasn't like him. She got tired, she doubted herself, but she felt his fire. She wanted to build this coil, to see if it could sing, to make his dream real. Outside, the city glowed with dawn. Sarah's eyes burned, but she wasn't sleepy. She was alive, like a coil sparking in the dark. She closed the notebook, her fingers tracing its cover. Tesla's breakthrough was clear now. A coil tuned to the earth, pulling clean energy with no waste. It was a secret he'd hidden, waiting for someone to find. That someone was her. The coil's truth was ready to wake, and Sarah was ready to make it sing. Chapter 8. The Final Experiment. Sarah's attic room was a whirlwind of papers, wires, and empty mugs, with Nikola Tesla's notebook at its core. The old book, its pages brittle and leather cover worn, had led her through the Tesla Coil story, from its sparking birth, through dreams of wireless power, to its role in science and modern marvels. She'd uncovered Tesla's secret. A coil designed to resonate with the Earth's frequency, pulling clean energy with no waste. The notebook sketch, with tight spirals and an extra capacitor, was her guide. Now she was ready to build it, to test Tesla's breakthrough in a final experiment. But danger loomed. A shadowy company wanted the coil's power for profit, not progress. Sarah had to act fast to make the coil sing and keep its truth safe. Sarah sat at her desk, the lamp's glow soft on the notebook. A page showed Tesla's handwriting. The coil will sing when the earth answers. Her heart pounded. Sing, answer. Tesla believed his coil could talk to the planet, pulling energy like a river from a spring. She'd spent days in her university lab with Dr. Lee, her old professor, building a prototype based on the notebook's sketch. It was small but precise, with tight spirals and an extra capacitor for tuning. Tests showed it could resonate at low frequencies close to the Earth's Schumann resonance, 7.83 Hertz, the planet's hum. Sarah's stomach twisted with excitement and fear. If it worked, it could change energy forever. If it failed, she'd lose everything. She rubbed her eyes, her glasses smudged from long nights. The notebook's coil was different from Tesla's showy ones. Normal coils made sparks, but this one was built for harmony, to match the Earth's rhythm and pull power without wires or waste. Sarah had learned the science. Resonance made two things vibrate together, like kids swinging in sync. In a Tesla coil, the primary and secondary coils resonated to build huge voltage, sparking lightning. The notebook's coil used an extra capacitor to fine-tune its frequency, aiming for the Earth's hum. If it worked, it could feed clean energy to homes, cars, even fusion reactors, with no coal or gas. Sarah thought about Tesla's life. He dreamed of free power for all. But his Wardenclyffe Tower failed in 1901, leaving him broke. By the 1930s, when he likely wrote this notebook, he was alone, scribbling ideas in cheap hotels. Yet he never stopped believing. The notebook was his last gift, a coil design he hid for someone to find. Sarah felt chosen, but scared. Building the coil was risky. Tesla's Colorado experiments caused blackouts, and this coil could be stronger. Plus, she'd learned something troubling. A tech company, VoltCorp, was sniffing around her work, wanting the coil for profit, not science. Her phone buzzed, snapping her out of her thoughts. It was Marcus, her history buff friend. "Found a 1942 Tesla note," he texted. "He warns about greedy hands stealing his coils. Creepy, right? Sending it." Sarah's skin prickled. 1942? Tesla was near death then, paranoid and frail. She opened the note, her hands shaky. Tesla wrote about a coil that could power the world, but feared thieves in suits would twist it for gain. Sarah's stomach sank. VoltCorp. She'd caught their emails to Dr. Lee, offering big money for her prototype. They didn't care about clean energy. They wanted to patent the coil, lock it away, and charge fortunes. She stood up, pacing her tiny room. Her cat, Edison, watched from the couch, unbothered. Sarah's mind raced. She'd built the prototype with Dr. Lee and 2 grad students, Tara and Sam, in a shielded university lab. Early tests were wild, small sparks, but also weird vibrations that shook the floor. The coil was hitting low frequencies, close to the Earth's hum. One test lit a bulb 10 feet away. No wires. Sarah's heart had soared, but fear followed. The vibrations felt too strong, like Tesla's Colorado blackout. And VoltCorp's spies were watching, maybe hacking their data. She had to finish the experiment before they stole it. Sarah sat back down, flipping to the notebook's sketch. The coil's design was clear. A primary coil to send a signal, a secondary to catch the Earth's hum, and an extra capacitor to store and tune the energy. Tesla's note said, "The Earth will answer when the coil is true." She tuned the prototype to 7.83 Hz, the Schumann resonance, using a digital meter. Last night's test sent a pulse through the ground, lighting a bulb across the lab. It was small but real, proof Tesla's idea worked. Sarah's hands trembled. She was close, but VoltCorp was closer. She'd seen a strange car outside the lab, and Tara swore someone had messed with their files. Her phone buzzed again. "Dr. Lee, lab's ready for the big test tonight. Bring the notebook. We're locking the doors." Sarah grinned, but her stomach knotted. Tonight was it, the final experiment. They'd push the prototype to full power, aiming to pull steady energy from the Earth's resonance. If it worked, it could light a whole room, maybe more. If it failed, it could fry the lab or worse. She typed back, "I'm in. Extra security." Dr. Lee replied, "Got it covered. Sam's bringing a friend who knows locks." Sarah exhaled. They were a team, but VoltCorp was a giant. She needed to protect Tesla's dream. Sarah thought about the science. Resonance was simple but powerful. In a Tesla coil, the coils vibrated together, building voltage until sparks flew. The notebook's coil used the same trick, but tuned to the Earth's frequency. The extra capacitor acted like a bucket, catching and smoothing the energy. Sarah had studied modern experiments. Labs in 2025 used low-frequency coils to pull tiny bits of power from the ground, mimicking the Schumann resonance. Her prototype was stronger thanks to Tesla's design. She'd calculated the math. At 783 Hz, with the right tuning, it could pull enough energy to power a small house. No wires, no waste. It was clean, free, and real. She grabbed her own notebook, sketching the setup for tonight. The prototype sat in a shielded cage to block stray sparks. They'd connect it to a ground rod, sunk deep to catch the Earth's hum. A meter would track the frequency, and bulbs across the lab would show if power flowed. Sarah wrote safety and underlined it. Tesla's coils were risky. High voltage could shock, start fires, or mess with electronics. They'd use rubber, mats, gloves, and a kill switch. But Volt Corp was the bigger threat. If they stole the coil, Tesla's dream would die again. Her lamp flickered, making her jump. Tesla, not now, she muttered, half laughing. The flicker reminded her of electricity's flaws. Power plants burned coal, and wires leaked energy. Tesla's coil could fix that, pulling clean power from the Earth. She thought about fusion reactors, which needed huge energy to start. Her coil could feed them, making fusion real. But Volt Corp wanted to bury it, to sell power at a profit. Sarah's fists clenched. She wouldn't let them. Tesla had fought for free energy, and so would she. She flipped to a new page in the notebook. It had a note. The coil's song is the Earth's gift. Her breath caught. Gift. Tesla saw his coil as a way to give power to everyone, not just the rich. She thought about his life, how he'd died alone in 1943, his papers taken or lost. This notebook was a miracle, surviving in a bookstore crate. Sarah felt its weight, like Tesla was trusting her to finish his work. She wasn't alone. She had Dr. Lee, Tara, Sam, and Marcus's clues. But the stakes were high. Tonight's test could prove Tesla right or burn everything down. Her phone buzzed. Tara, lab set. Found a weird bug in our system. Someone's hacking. Hurry! Sarah's heart sank. Volt Corp. They were moving fast. She grabbed the notebook, her backpack, and a flashlight, then texted Marcus. Need you at the lab? Bring your laptop. Trouble. Marcus replied, On my way. Got dirt on Volt Corp. Shady deals. We'll nail them. Sarah smiled. Marcus was a history nerd, but he knew how to dig. If they could expose Volt Corp, they could protect the coil. She thought about the experiment. The prototype was ready, tuned to 7.83 Hertz. They'd start with low power, checking the resonance. If it held, they'd ramp up, aiming to pull steady energy. The bulbs would light, showing the Earth's power flowing. Sarah's mind raced through the science. The primary coil sent a pulse. The secondary caught the Earth's hum, and the extra capacitor smoothed it. It was Tesla's breakthrough, hidden for decades. She'd checked the math. Voltage would peak at 10,000 volts, enough for a small grid with no loss. It was clean, safe, and possible if Volt Corp didn't ruin it. Sarah arrived at the lab, a grey building buzzing with tension. Dr. Lee, Tara, and Sam were there, setting up the prototype in its cage. Marcus burst in, laptop under his arm. Volt Corp's been buying patents, he said, breathless. They've got spies everywhere. We need to record this test and share it fast. Sarah nodded, her throat tight. They locked the doors, set up a camera, and checked the system. Tara found the hack. Someone had accessed their frequency data. Sarah's fists clenched. Volt Corp knew too much. The lab was quiet, the prototype gleaming under fluorescent lights. Sarah opened the notebook, showing Dr. Lee the sketch. This is it, she said. "Tesla's coil, tuned to the earth. Let's make it sing." Dr. Lee's eyes sparkled. "Let's do it." They grounded the coil, checked the meter, and put on gloves. Sarah's heart pounded. This was the moment. Tesla's dream, her fight, all in one test. She flipped the switch. The coil hummed, a low buzz filling the lab. The meter showed 7.83 hertz, perfect resonance. Sparks danced, small but steady. Bulbs across the lab flickered, then glowed bright, no wires. Sarah's eyes widened. It was working. The earth was answering. The hum grew, the floor vibrating softly. Tara gasped. "It's pulling power!" Sam checked the meter, grinning. 10,000 volts steady. No loss. Dr. Lee clapped Sarah's shoulder. "You did it, kid. Tesla would be proud." But the hum turned sharp, the vibration stronger. A bulb popped, sparks flying. Sarah's stomach dropped. Too much power. She hit the kill switch, and the coil stopped, smoke curling from its base. The lab was silent, bulbs dim. Tara checked the system. "We're okay, but that was close. It's strong, too strong." Sarah nodded, her hands shaky. The coil worked, but it was wild, like Tesla's Colorado blackout. They needed better shielding, more tests. But they'd proved it. Tesla's coil could pull clean energy from the earth. Marcus held up his phone. "Got it all on video. Uploading. Now encrypted. VoltCorp can't stop this." Sarah exhaled, relief washing over her. The test was a success, and the world would know. She thought about VoltCorp's spies, their greedy plans. Marcus's video would expose them, showing the coil's power belonged to everyone, not a company. She looked at the notebook, its pages open to the sketch. Tesla's words rang true. The coil will sing when the earth answers. It had sung, and the earth had answered outside. The city glowed with dawn. Sarah's eyes burned, but she felt alive, like a spark in the dark. Coil was real, its power clean and free. VoltCorp would fight, but she had her team, her proof, and Tesla's truth. The experiment was over, but the fight wasn't. She closed the notebook, her fingers lingering on its cover. Tesla's dream was alive, and she'd make sure it stayed that way. The coil had sung, and the world was listening. Chapter 9. Tesla's Legacy. Sarah stood in the university lab, the air still tingling from last night's experiment. Nikola Tesla's notebook lay on a workbench, its worn leather cover glowing under the fluorescent lights. The pages had guided her through the Tesla Coil story, from its sparking birth in the 1890s, through dreams of wireless power, its leap to science, and its role in modern wonders like fusion and plasma research. She'd built Tesla's hidden coil, tuned to the Earth's resonance, and proved it could pull clean energy with no waste. The test lit bulbs without wires, but its raw power shook the lab, and VoltCorp, a greedy company, was closing in to steal it. Now, Sarah had to protect Tesla's dream and share his legacy with the world. The lab was quiet, the prototype coil silent in its shielded cage. Sarah's team, Dr. Lee, Tara, Sam and Marcus, had stayed up late, celebrating their success. The coil had hit 7.83 hertz, the Earth's Schumann resonance, pulling 10,000 volts with no loss. Marcus's live video of the test went viral, reaching scientists, energy nerds, and curious kids worldwide. He'd also exposed VoltCorp's shady deals, buying clean tech patents to bury them, making it harder for them to steal the coil. But Sarah knew the fight wasn't over. VoltCorp's threatening text, "We'll be in touch," chilled her. She had to act fast to keep Tesla's vision free. Sarah sat on a lab stool, the notebook open to a page with Tesla's handwriting. "The coil song is for all, not a few." Her heart thumped. Tesla dreamed of free power for everyone, not just the rich. His coil, tuned to the Earth's hum, could light homes, charge cars, or feed fusion reactors without coal or gas. Last night's test was proof, but the coil was wild. Its vibrations nearly broke the lab, like Tesla's 1899 Colorado blackout. Sarah needed to refine it, make it safe, and share it openly before VoltCorp locked it away. She rubbed her eyes, her glasses smudged from sleepless nights, and thought about Tesla's life, his brilliance, his struggles, and the legacy he left. In this notebook, Tesla was a dreamer, born in 1856 in a Croatian village. As a kid, he saw machines in his mind, sketching them before touching a tool. By the 1880s in New York, he built motors and power grids using alternating current to light cities. His Tesla Coil, born in the 1890s, made lightning dance, wowing crowds and powering early radios and X-rays. But his biggest dream? Wireless. Power through his 1901 Wardenclyffe Tower failed, leaving him broke. By the 1930s, when he likely wrote this notebook, he was alone, feeding pigeons in cheap hotels, yet still scribbling ideas. Sarah's throat tightened. Tesla never gave up, even when the world forgot him. This coil, hidden in a bookstore crate, was his final gift, and she'd brought it to life. She grabbed her own notebook, listing next steps. The coil worked, pulling clean energy from the Earth's resonance, a low hum caused by lightning bouncing in the atmosphere. Modern labs in 2025 were testing similar ideas, but Tesla's design was better, hitting high voltage with no waste. It could power fusion, the clean energy dream, or charge cities without wires. But it needed work, stronger shields, safer wiring, and more tests to control its power. Sarah wrote open source and circled it. Sharing the design online would keep it free out of VoltCorp's hands. She also wrote team, knowing she couldn't do it alone. Dr. Lee's wisdom, Tara's tech skills, Sam's steady hands, and Marcus's research were her strength. Her phone buzzed. Marcus. Videos at 1 million views. Scientists want your data. VoltCorp's stock dropped. People are mad. What's next? Sarah grinned. Marcus's leak had hit VoltCorp hard, exposing their plan to bury clean tech. She texted back, "Share the coil's specs online, encrypted. We're going public." Marcus replied, "On it. Found a 1943 Tesla note. Says his coils are for humanity's light. Sending it." Sarah's heart swelled. 1943? Tesla's last year, when he died alone. She opened the note, her hands shaky. Tesla wrote that his coils could light the world freely, urging future minds to keep them from greed. Sarah nodded. That was her mission now. She thought about Tesla's legacy. His coils sparked history, from radios to X-rays to modern fusion experiments. They were simple but genius, using resonance, when two things vibrate together, to turn small energy into big results. The notebook's coil was his masterpiece, tuned to the Earth's 7.83 Hz hum, pulling power like a windmill catching a breeze, Sarah's test proved it worked, but VaultCorp's threat loomed. She remembered their text. "We'll be in touch." They'd try to buy, steal, or sabotage the coil. Sarah's fists clenched. Tesla fought for free power, and so would she. Dr. Lee walked in, his grey hair messy from the long night. "Lab's secure," he said, "but VaultCorp's got lawyers circling. We need to move fast." Sarah nodded, showing him the notebook. Tesla wanted this for everyone. "Let's share the design online. Make it open source." Dr. Lee's eyes twinkled. "Bold move. I'm in. Let's write a paper too. Get scientists on board." Sarah smiled. A paper would spread the coil's science, while open sourcing would keep it free. She wrote paper in her notebook, feeling the plan take shape. Tara and Sam joined them, carrying laptops. Tara's eyes were bright. "The video's trending everywhere," she said. "People are calling it Tesla's comeback. But I found another hack attempt. VaultCorp's not stopping." Sam frowned. "We need better firewalls. I've got a buddy who can help." Sarah's chest tightened. VaultCorp was desperate, but the world was watching. She said, "Let's upload. The coil specs today. Marcus is encrypting them. No one can bury this." Tara grinned. Tesla would love this. Sarah thought about the science. Resonance was the coil's heart. The primary coil sent a pulse. The secondary caught the Earth's hum, and the extra capacitor smoothed the energy. Last night it hit 10,000 volts, lighting bulbs with no wires. Modern labs had pulled tiny power from the ground, but Tesla's coil was stronger, designed for big loads like fusion or cities. Sarah's math showed it could scale up, powering a small grid with no loss. But its raw power, shaking the lab, needed control. She wrote shielding and tests in her notebook. The coil was a start, not a finish. Her phone buzzed again. An email from a fusion lab in Japan. "Saw your test. Kappa your video. Can we discuss your coil's design? It's groundbreaking. We'd like to collaborate." Sarah's eyes widened. Japan? Fusion? This was huge. Fusion needed clean, steady power, and her coil could deliver. She replied, "Let's talk. I'm sharing the design soon." Her heart raced. Tesla's coil could push fusion forward, making clean energy real. She thought about his legacy. Motors, radios, X-rays, and now this. His dream of free power was alive, and she was carrying it. Sarah looked at the notebook, its sketch glowing under the lights. Tesla's words rang true. The coil's song is for all. Last night it sang, pulling energy from the Earth's hum. She thought about his life. Brilliant, lonely, never giving up. He'd hidden this coil, trusting someone to find it. Sarah felt chosen, but not alone. Her team was her strength, and the world was ready. VaultCorp could try, but they couldn't stop this. She wrote legacy in her notebook, her hand steady. Tesla's spark was now hers to share. Her phone buzzed. "Marcus, specs are online, encrypted. Scientists are downloading. VaultCorp's panicking. Lawsuits coming." Sarah exhaled. The coil was free, safe from greed. She texted, "Great work. Keep digging on VaultCorp." Marcus replied, "Got more dirt. They're done." Sarah smiled. VaultCorp's days were numbered, and Tesla's legacy was bright. Dr. Lee clapped her shoulder. "Let's write that paper. Get the science out clean." Sarah nodded. A paper would explain the coil's resonance, its 7.83 Hz tuning, and its power. It would invite labs to build, test, and improve it. She thought about the future. Fusion plants, wireless cities, clean air. Tesla's coil could make it happen if she kept it free. Tara and Sam set up laptops, ready to draft. "Let's make." "It's simple," Tara said. "Like Tesla's style." Sarah laughed. "Simple, but genius, like his coils." Her lamp flickered, making her smile. "Thanks, Tesla," she whispered. Electricity powered her life, but it was dirty and wasteful. The coil changed that, pulling clean energy from the earth. She thought about kids watching Marcus's video, dreaming of science. Tesla's legacy wasn't just coils, it was hope, the spark to try. Sarah wasn't alone like he was. Her team, the world's scientists and millions online, were with her. VoltCorp could fight, but they'd lose. The coil's song was too loud. Sarah closed the notebook, her fingers tracing its cover. Tesla's legacy was alive. Motors, radios, fusion, and now this coil pulling power from the Earth's heart. She'd proved it, shared it, and protected it. The fight wasn't over, but the spark was lit. Outside, the city buzzed with morning light. Sarah's eyes burned, but she felt alive, like a coil humming with power. Tesla's dream was hers now, and she'd carry it to the world. Chapter 10. Epilogue. The eternal spark Sarah stood in the quiet of a small museum, once Nikola Tesla's lab on Houston Street in New York. The air smelled of old wood and wax, and sunlight streamed through tall windows, lighting up glass cases filled with wires, coils, and faded papers. Tesla's notebook, now safely stored at her university, had changed her life. It had led her through the Tesla Coil story, from its sparking birth in the 1890s, through dreams of wireless power, its leap to science, and its role in modern wonders like fusion and wireless charging. She'd built Tesla's hidden coil, tuned to the Earth's resonance, and proved it could pull clean energy with no waste. She'd fought off VoltCorp, a greedy company, and shared the coil's design with the world. Now, months later, she was here to honor Tesla's legacy and see his spark live on. The museum was alive with kids on a field trip, their voices bouncing off the walls. Sarah smiled, watching them crowd around a small Tesla coil in a glass case. It wasn't the notebook's coil. Hers was still in the lab, being refined. But it sparked and hummed, shooting tiny bolts of lightning. The kids gasped, their eyes wide, as a guide explained how Tesla's coils lit up history. Sarah's heart swelled. This was why she'd fought. To keep Tesla's dream alive, to let kids see the magic of science and dream big, just like he did. She thought back to the wild months since the experiment. The coil's test had been a success, pulling 10,000 volts from the Earth's Schumann resonance, 7.83 Hz, the planet's hum, lighting bulbs without wires. But its raw power shook the lab, nearly breaking it, like Tesla's 1899 Colorado blackout. Marcus's live video of the test went viral, reaching millions, and his leaks exposed VoltCorp's plan to bury clean tech for profit. Sarah and her team, Dr. Lee, Tara, Sam, and Marcus, had shared the coil's design online, making it open source so no one could lock it away. Scientists worldwide were building their own, testing ways to power homes, cars, even fusion reactors with clean energy. VoltCorp's lawsuits fizzled as the world rallied for Tesla's dream. Sarah walked to a display of Tesla's old sketches, her sneakers soft on the wood floor. A photo showed him in his lab, tall and sharp, surrounded by sparks. Born in 1856 in a Croatian village, Tesla saw machines in his mind as a boy, dreaming of power for all. In the 1880s, he built motors and grids in New York, using alternating current to light cities. His Tesla Coil, born in the 1890s, made lightning dance, powering early radios, X-rays, and more. His 1901 Wardenclyffe Tower aimed to send wireless power but failed, leaving him broke. By the 1930s, when he wrote the notebook, he was alone, feeding pigeons, yet still dreaming. Sarah's throat tightened. Tesla's spark never died, and she'd carried it forward. Her phone buzzed in her pocket. "Marcus, Japan Lab just powered a fusion test with your coil design. It's working. News is everywhere." Sarah grinned, her heart racing. Japan? Fusion? The coil was feeding clean energy to the holy grail of power, smashing atoms without pollution. She texted back, "Amazing! Any VoltCorp noise?" Marcus replied, "They're quiet. Stock's tanking. You won." Sarah exhaled. VoltCorp's threat, "We'll be in touch," had faded. The world's scientists, inspired by her test, were building coils, sharing data, and pushing for free energy. Tesla's legacy was safe. She thought about the science, the notebooks. Coil used resonance when two things vibrate together like kids swinging in sync to match the Earth's hum. Its primary coil sent a pulse, the secondary caught the planet's frequency, and an extra capacitor smoothed the energy. Unlike normal Tesla coils, which sparked for show, this one pulled steady power with no waste. Sarah's test hit 10,000 volts, enough for a small grid. Labs were scaling it up, aiming for cities. Her math showed it could feed fusion reactors, needing huge clean power to start. The coil's vibrations were tricky. Her lab nearly shook apart, but new shields and wiring were fixing that. Sarah's work wasn't done, but the spark was lit. A kid's voice pulled her from her thoughts. "Miss, did Tesla really make lightning?" A boy, maybe 10, stared at the coil display, his eyes bright. Sarah knelt, smiling. "He did. He made machines that danced with electricity, and they're still helping us today." The boy grinned. "I want to make one." Sarah laughed. "You can. Learn science, and you'll build something amazing." The boy ran to his friends, buzzing with ideas. Sarah's heart swelled. This was Tesla's legacy, not just coils, but the spark to dream, to try, to change the world. She walked to a window, looking out at New York's skyline. The city glowed, powered by grids Tesla helped build, but also by dirty coal and gas. Her coil could change that, pulling clean energy from the Earth's hum. Labs in Sweden, Japan, and California were testing it, sharing results online. A fusion lab had emailed her yesterday, inviting her to visit. Sarah's team was writing a paper, explaining the coil's resonance and 7.83 Hz tuning, urging others to build. Open source meant no one, not VoltCorp, not anyone, could own it. Tesla's dream of free power was growing, and Sarah was its keeper. Her phone buzzed again. "Dr. Lee, paper's almost done. Labs want you to speak at a clean energy conference. You in?" Sarah's stomach flipped. Speak, she was a tinkerer, not a star. But Tesla had spoken to crowds, sharing his dreams despite doubters. She texted, "I'm in. Let's spread the spark." Dr. Lee replied, "Proud of you. Tesla's smiling." Sarah smiled, imagining Tesla's sharp eyes, his quiet nod. He'd fought for free energy, even when the world laughed. She wasn't alone like he was. Her team, the world's, scientists and millions online were with her. She thought about Tesla's life. He died in 1943, alone in a hotel, his papers scattered or locked away. The notebook's survival was a miracle, found in a bookstore crate. Sarah felt chosen, like Tesla had trusted her to finish his work. She wasn't brilliant like him. She got tired, doubted herself, but she had his fire. The coil's test, its viral video, and the global buzz proved it. VoltCorp had tried to steal it, but the world's love for clean energy was too strong. Sarah's fight wasn't over. Labs needed her data, and VoltCorp might try again. But the spark was eternal. A display caught her eye. A replica of Tesla's Colorado lab, with a giant coil that shook the ground in 1899. Sarah remembered her test's vibrations, how they nearly broke the lab. Tesla's coils were wild but genius. They sparked radios, X-rays, plasma research, and now fusion. The notebook's coil was his best, tuned to the Earth's heart, pulling power like a river. Sarah's team was refining it, adding shields to tame its strength. Soon it could power towns, maybe cities, with no waste. She thought about kids like the boy, growing up in a cleaner world, dreaming of science because of Tesla's spark. Her phone buzzed. Tara, Sweden Lab just powered a school with the coil. They named it Tesla's Gift. Cool, right? Sarah's eyes stung. Tesla's Gift. She texted, "Perfect, send pics." Tara sent a photo of a school, bulbs glowing, kids cheering. Sarah's heart soared. This was why she'd fought, for kids, for schools, for a world lit by clean energy. She thought about Tesla's words in the notebook. The coil's song is for all. It was singing now. In labs, schools, and dreams, its power free for everyone. Sarah walked to a case with Tesla's old letters. One, from 1940, said his coils were humanity's light. She nodded. That was his legacy. Light, hope, the spark to try. Her coil was part of it, pulling energy from the Earth's hum, just as he'd dreamed. Modern science, fusion, wireless power, plasma, owed him. Sarah's test had woken that spark, and the world was carrying it. She wasn't alone. Dr. Lee's wisdom, Tara's tech, Sam's hands, Marcus's digs, and millions online were her strength. VoltCorp's greed couldn't dim this light. A guide's voice echoed. Tesla believed in free power for all. His coils are still sparking today. Sarah smiled, watching the kids listen, their faces bright. One girl raised her hand. "Can we make coils too?" The guide nodded. "Anyone can, with science." Sarah's chest tightened. That was it, the eternal spark. Tesla's coils weren't just machines. They were ideas, passed to kids who'd build the future. She thought about her lab, where Tara and Sam were testing new shields. The coil would grow, safer, stronger, lighting the world. Her phone buzzed. "Sam, New shield worked. Coil stable. Ready for bigger tests. Sarah grinned, texting, "Awesome. Let's scale it up." The coil was ready for more. Towns, maybe cities. She thought about fusion labs, needing clean power. Her coil could feed them, making Tesla's dream real. The world was watching, building, dreaming. VoltCorp was quiet, their power fading. Sarah's fight was far from over. More tests, papers, talks, but the spark was alive. She looked out, the museum window, New York's skyline glowing. Tesla had walked these streets, dreaming of light for all. His coils sparked history, motors, radios, fusion, and now her coil carried it forward, pulling clean energy from the Earth's heart. Sarah wasn't him. She was messy, human, but she had his fire. The notebook, his gift, had chosen her, and she'd answered. Kids in the museum, buzzing with ideas, were next. They'd build coils, chase dreams, light the world. Sarah's eyes burned, but she felt alive, like a coil humming with power. She touched the glass case, whispering, "Thanks, Tesla." His legacy wasn't just coils. It was hope, the spark that never died. Outside the city shone, and Sarah knew the eternal spark was hers to share, and it would light the future forever.